Question from Vanessa. I would like advice on a legal eviction. Is it legal for my landlord to kick me out without notice? So this is a nice broad question. Basically lets you encompass, the entire process of what we do.
Yeah, so I was about to say, this is sort of our bread and butter, the reason that this channel was started. So I think Vanessa is one of our newer listeners, so that's great. Welcome. We have lots of videos for you to check out over the last sort of 2 years of us doing this. And we've dealt with this topic before on a couple of occasions. So I'm not going to go too in depth with it, but suffice to say, can your landlord kick you out without notice? No, absolutely not. In South African law, we have the PI Act, that's Prevention of Illegal Evictions from Land Act, and that act sets out the process that has to be taken in order for a landlord to eject a tenant from a premises. All right, it does not allow you to be kicked out of a premises without notice, and certainly in terms of our constitution, you cannot eject someone from a premises without a lawful court order. So it has to go in front of a court. The court has to make the order that someone is ejected from a particular premises. There is a complex process for that to happen, which I'm not going to set out the entire process here, but this is why evictions go through attorneys and why we recommend specialist attorneys in respect of evictions, because there is a process that has to be done. But obviously, I think Vanessa's talking from obviously the tenant's perspective here. No, you can't be locked out. You can't be kicked out without notice. And there must have been some legal process and the correct legal process in order to acquire an order ejecting you from a premises. If none of those have happened, okay, then you certainly have legal recourse against the landlord. This can be, for instance, a form of spoliation. So it means that they've locked you out of the premises. They've taken away your possession of the premises without a lawful court order to do so. And that might be a spoliation situation. It does depend on the facts, but generally that's what we look at in the circumstances. So there might be legal recourse. If this is something that's happened to you, then our suggestion is approach an attorney in order to look at the circumstances, and you may be able to obviously get back into the premises until such time as a lawful eviction is done and you are ejected from the premises properly.
Sure. So just to add on that, because it's something that I've noticed recently, and I'm sure you pick this up all the time, Nick, is there's a lot of confusion around the word notice. And I think this comes from the fact that our courts use the word notice, but so does our legislation, so do our letters. Americans use the word notice as something final, going, here's your eviction notice, and literally there's somebody there kicking you out. So guys, notice unfortunately doesn't have one set meaning throughout the entire process. So when you say, can they kick me out without notice? There's many different notices in the process. So can they evict you forcefully? What you need there is a court order, right? Or notice of a court order, as an example. So yes, there's notice, but it's a court order. Can they cancel the lease agreement? Well, then you need notice of breach and a letter of demand for you to pay. So it's a different notice for them to cancel the lease agreement. Can they get a court order for an eviction? Well, you need notice of the application for eviction. So there's different notices throughout our entire process. So there is no such thing as an eviction notice, because an eviction notice comes in many different shapes and forms and is probably divided into at least 3 or 4 different notices. You have the notice of the application, a notice in terms of section 4.2, a notice of hearing, a notice of set down, and potentially a notice saying that the court order was granted. So there's a couple of different notices that could encompass an eviction notice. So when you ask the question, can he kick me out without notice? So exactly what Nick said, court order to be able to kick out. Simple as that. Forget letters and all of that. You need court order before the person can kick you out. Yeah.
And for more details, there really are. We've got a couple of videos, so I do urge you to go have a look at some of the older videos that we've done relating to, what is the process, what are the notices that you're going to receive, and what needs to actually be in place for an order to be granted.
Sure, absolutely. Cool, awesome. I think that's it for today.
That's it.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Bruno.
Thanks, guys.
See you later. Cheers.
Cheers.